Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And I hope you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night if you guys are out there in the world. We have a lot to talk about. I don't want to waste any time, so let's dive on in and let's start off with the data. Guys, last 6 months. Check this out. These are the stats behind Hedera. 22.5 billion total transactions, which is crazy to think about. We're on pace to almost 50 billion transactions in a single year going off of just this data alone. And if we look at the max TPS, 11,624, average TPS sitting at about roughly 1.43K. Crazy stats there. Now, overall, year to date, our stats are dropping a little bit. We're actually on pace right now because we're almost at the 6-month tier. Roughly about 30 billion, right? That's what we're really kind of looking at. But regardless, the last 6 months alone have been very exciting around Hedera. If we actually scroll down to the last 6 months in terms of account growth, which is what I have been looking at more than just transactions, because this is showing us like, hey, there is real retail interest here around Hedera. 1.35 million active accounts, 1.83 million created accounts. And also, by the way, May 14th, just recently, 82,000 plus created accounts. That's something to definitely take a look at and keep an eye out on. But in the last 6 months, guys, 22.5 billion transactions. You throw on another 3 billion to that, and we're already at half of the 50 billion total transactions that we hit just recently, which is insane. The account growth, the overall growth of the network of Hedera in just the last couple months alone, it's been breathtaking, to be completely honest with you guys, because versus any other chain out there, it's a night and day difference. Hedera is literally here to take over. There is no question about that. Now, talking about this, I've been noticing a lot of these graphics coming up, and this one is actually from Tokenizer, a good friend of mine. Huge shout out to Tokenizer. This post got made back in March, actually, the middle of March, and this just goes to show you some of the major connections that Hedera has. For an example, we have Web3 and DLT ecosystem, supply chain innovation, internal team, fintech involvement, academic involvement, ESG involvement, intergovernment links, big tech backing as well. Look at the names that are connected to Hedera or even exposed to Hedera in some of these categories. I mean, just to give you guys a quick insight, look at the intergovernmental links. You have NASA, which we've talked about in the past, HM government. So many names here: the UN, the World Economic Forum, Interwork Alliance, FedNow. And there's a lot of big connections that a lot of people just are not aware of. Even in terms of like the internal team, there's connections back to Citi, Swirls. Well, Swirls Labs is more so like the major ones behind Hedera, but Citi, Fidelity, Linux, Nike, the list goes on and on and on. The ultimate discussion here to have around Hedera is just how connected from the inside out Hedera really is. I mean, internal team outside of that, so many connections as well. But the internal team themselves, they have such a massive background to them. It's just crazy to me. But beyond this, you know what's funny? Go back to 2021. This is what the overall ecosystem around Hedera looked like. Now, I'm not saying that this is bad at all. No, in fact, this was even good back in 2021. But the reason why I believe that Hedera is so much bigger now, and why I believe HBAR will do such a massive move in this market versus its 2021 high, is because look at the ecosystem today. That is a night and day difference, guys. Look at how massive this is. And I don't even think that this includes every single name in terms of the ecosystem on here. But this just goes to show you how stacked Hedera is. Now, talking about the GC, go back to 2021. This is what the GC looked like. This is what the GC looks like now. This just shows you how much work is going into Hedera, how much work is behind Hedera. Like I said, the upward trajectory of Hedera and HBAR both is insane. I've always talked about it. Now, beyond this, right? We've constantly been hearing about the future of finance. Look at some of the names on here. You have major banks, asset management companies. You even have finance infrastructure like Australian Payments Plus as a GC on Hedera. Now, talking about this, let's talk about the future of money. The IMF put out a post back in September of 2022, and I've highlighted this. This came out in the middle of a bear market. Nobody even cared about this document at all. Reimagining money in the age of crypto and the central bank digital currencies. This is from the IMF, one of those organizations that pulls the string around the financial world, the global financial system. And we have the recent plunge in crypto assets has left investors numbed by losses and surely in doubt. But the future of money is undoubtedly digital. And what's crazy is that within this full breakdown, we hear things about stablecoins. We hear things about central banks and CBDCs. We even hear about the Bank for International Settlements chief Augustin Carstens and his co-authors suggest that central banks should harness the technological innovations offered by crypto while also providing a crucial foundation of trust. And you know what's funny? The BIS is picking their winners. They have already chosen a few names. And we also know that the BIS is looking at API plug-and-play technology, and Hedera offers that as well. And this is all going to be linked between Quant with these major projects like Project Rosalind, for an example. There's a few other ones, of course, but we are now in the revolution of money. We are now in the beginning stages of it, and it's only going to accelerate more and more and more as we do go forward on, especially as we do start to see regulations flowing in, and that's when a lot of these projects like Hedera become top dogs. Now, outside of this, also over here from Blockworks, September 11th, 2023, guys, just 1 month, just 1 year later, right? G20 nations endorse IMF and the FSB guidelines for crypto regulation. Why do they want regulation? Well, they already told us over here that they want to embrace this innovation. They want to embrace this technology. They know that this technology is extremely valuable, especially for decentralized finance and even cross-border payments. So why do they want regulations? Oh yeah, that's right. Because they want to implement it and utilize it at scale. And we know that by the end of 2025, global crypto regulatory frameworks will be put in place. It is only a matter of time from now until the end of 2025 to be prepared for what happens next. Now, do I think that the market is going to be up only until the end of 2025? No. I've already told you guys, I personally believe that the market tops out before the end of the year, and I've already given you guys my overall thought process on why. But beyond that, we do need to be prepared for regulations because most of this space is going to get hit hard by regulations. And in fact, most of the space will be wiped out. And I've talked about why. Because a lot of it provides zero value. It has zero real world utility added to it. But beyond this, talking about real world utility, what about finance? What about the financial world? Well, check this out. Driving financial inclusion is one of the original promises of Web3. However, few networks beyond Hedera have been able to scale to help realize this vision. Talking about scalability, I've already told you guys. Guys, 6 months ago, in a period of 6 months, 22.5 billion total transactions. And this is at throttled transactions per second. Imagine what could be built out on Hedera utilizing the unlimited scalability that it has to offer. This week, we'll be highlighting some of the Hedera ecosystem teams actively making this vision a reality. Financial inclusion is one of the original promises of Web3, enabling underserved and underrepresented communities with access to traditional financial services such as lending, borrowing, and international remittances, all from their smartphone. Web3 networks like Hedera bring greater efficiency to the financial world by orders of magnitude, enabling increased transaction speeds, reduced costs, and complete transparency. On Hedera, we see financial inclusion driven throughout the ecosystem from multiple standpoints. Immediately, we see stablecoins like those issued by YPay Caribbean, StraitsX, and Circle on Hedera enable greater access to units of value to those outside the traditional financial sphere. These stablecoins are explored particularly in the sphere of international remittances on Hedera by teams like MTech, Flutterwave, Shinhan Bank, SB Group, and YPay Caribbean to ensure frictionless movement of value in a much more cost-effective fashion. Beyond traditional payment services, teams such as GetQuick, Empower, DropCC, and SaucerSwap Labs drive entire new means of financial empowerment, ranging all the way from the creation of new employment opportunities to greater financial autonomy. This week, we'll be diving into the blossoming ecosystem on Hedera and how the network is being used to drive financial empowerment across the world. Guys, Hedera is literally changing the world. I've talked about this on multiple occasions, but Hedera is literally changing the world through a lot of these major innovations, and this is one of them. Now, they've already tapped in with some big names. In fact, talking about the GC, this was one that got added to the GC, BitGo. Now, a lot of people didn't think that BitGo was that big, but we've talked about them. We've broken them down. It's not so much about how many names are connected to it, because if we go over here, we know that today, BitGo is the leader in digital asset security, custody, and liquidity, providing the operational backbone for more than 1,500 institutional clients in over 50 countries, a list that includes many regulated entities and the world's top cryptocurrency exchanges and platforms. They also process approximately 20% of all global Bitcoin transactions by value. They are an absolute giant, but look at the names tied to them. Look at the investors down here. The first one is Goldman Sachs. Beyond that, you have a lot of major capital companies, venture capital companies, even equity companies. Like, these are giants, guys. Look at some of these names. Like, these are names that are looking at Hedera and they're realizing the value behind it. Even if we go back to this announcement and we look at some of the quotes here, there is immense value in a diversity of purpose-driven networks, which is why we remain steadfast in our support for Hedera as a network that will push the boundaries of use cases, product development, and performance limits. BitGo has played a leading role in Web3 since inception, so we recognize that it takes many participants to come together to drive real change. We see significant opportunities for future product development with Hedera through our involvement with the Hedera Council, especially in the context of real-world tokenization, settlement, and payment verticals. Now, like I said, over here, you have 1,500 institutions already tapped in. So imagine what use cases those 1,500 institutional clients are looking at, considering the fact that they're tapped in with BitGo, which is mainly a major digital asset player and infrastructure for the blockchain world. This is very exciting stuff, guys. Now, beyond this, we just got a huge announcement. May 15th. Congratulations to 3 Hedera ecosystem projects, Fresh Supply Co., and this is in Venium, and also Vayana. This is via the Hashgraph for being part of the 5 mentioned MasterCard multi-token network beta app developers. Now, you might be questioning, Nick, what is this MTN? Over here, we have the next generation of blockchain and banking fusing the flexibility of crypto with the convenience of fiat. May 14th. This is a massive announcement. Let's just put it real, right? Like, this is a massive announcement. And guess what it's all through? APIs. What has the BIS told us? APIs. We are starting to see a major change happening around our entire financial system, and it's all through blockchain, crypto, DLT. And even over here, I have the full breakdown. This is, of course, from ChatGPT, and we have to ensure safe and effective scalability. Networks require rules, standards, and safeguards. This principle has been foundational for the payments ecosystem, open banking, and domestic interbank networks. MasterCard's multi-token network, announced last summer, aims to apply these principles to digital assets and programmable payments, leveraging tokenized bank deposits. After months of beta testing, including an innovation sprint, MTN is nearing fruition. This is a big game changer. In collaboration with Standard Chartered Bank, Hong Kong Limited, Mox Bank Limited, and Libera, MasterCard is piloting tokenized carbon credit payments, which is a perfect use case for Hedera, by the way. They're already dominating that sector with tokenized deposits. Previous pilots in Hong Kong and Australia demonstrated MTN's capability to settle digital asset transactions involving decentralized applications using tokenized deposits or central bank digital currencies. And by the way, Hedera's already winning big in Australia. I've told you guys about it. So MTN is built out on a private secure blockchain. It combines blockchain's versatility with MasterCard's governance, compliance, and convening power. This creates a platform for the next generation of financial applications, enhancing opportunities to transact with digital asset security or securely. Banks can participate without running a new blockchain ledger by using existing interfaces and upgrading to standards-based APIs for more complex use cases. Various app developers, and this is where you see those major names mentioned, are leveraging MTN to innovate financial services such as transforming loan disbursement and carbon credit transactions. Then, of course, down here we have currently MTN's beta phase is in select countries, and it's testing new payments and commerce capabilities. As more financial institutions and applications join MTN, the network's value and attractiveness will increase, creating a virtuous cycle. MasterCard aims to empower participants to transact with digital assets more flexibly, efficiently, and securely. And by the way, Hedera has been working with MasterCard for a little bit of time. They've already had connections back and forth in major ways. But you know what's crazy about all of this is like MasterCard. Think about how big MasterCard is. Everyone knows MasterCard. They're now adopting and utilizing this type of technology. What does that have to tell you? The IMF already told you that they're reimagining money with crypto and CBDCs and stablecoins. And then the G20 is already endorsing the IMF and the FSB guidelines for crypto. Like, what is going on? We already know what's going on, but most people are so asleep at the wheel, they don't realize it. What is happening here is a major revolution happening around our monetary system, and it's all through DLT, crypto, blockchain, and it's happening in such a fast way, even though a lot of people are like, oh no, it's not happening fast. It's not happening. There's nothing happening behind the scenes because of price action, right? That's what they're only focused on. But look at the major moves that have happened since roughly September of 2022 or even prior to now. I mean, in just the last almost 2 years, we have witnessed major update after major update, and also confirmation from some of the biggest names out there like the BIS, the World Bank, the IMF, even the FSB on their plan of action going forward, which is standardize, regulate, implement, and utilize. That's what they want to utilize in terms, or that's what they want to do in terms of crypto utilization. They want to make sure that the plan is in place. That way they don't miss a single thing. They want to make sure that this can be trusted, that it's secure, and they are going to tap in a very big way. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.